Why couldn't have I woken up in that chair? Hello? Anyone there? Charlie? Jimmy? Or whatever his name was? Damn it. I knew this was going to happen. As I always say, hang around in someone else's house too long and you'll end up in a forest. Okay, I've never said that before. Well, I need a break from Breath of the Wild. And Harry, for that matter. What to talk about? Definitely something for the Halloween season. And yes, I just had a shower. Nah. No. No. Of course! A Hello Neighbour game! There are clearly no other options. Hello everyone, I am Charlie Matthews, and today we are going back into the Hello Neighbour franchise with a game that isn't really talked about that much anymore, even ignored by the developers and publishers themselves. A game that just barely got past the alpha stage, yet introduced one of the most vital and important characters in the Hello Neighbour franchise. And that is Hello Guest. In January of 2020, a prototype of a game called Hello Guest was found by Secret Neighbour players. In a previous update, if you were to go into Mr. Peterson's office, you could find a post-it note showing what seemed to be part of a link. Adding it onto the Secret Neighbour website link would lead them to this. Doing the exact opposite of what the button says and clicking it will start a download for Hello Guest. Upon opening the prototype and going through this creepy menu showing a Ferris wheel and some mysterious figure on a hill, the players will find themselves in an office as some sort of security guard. All you have is a flashlight and you will have to traverse seemingly an amusement park. It's very desolate, with the only sign of inhabitants being the vandals who sneak in at night. Your job is to tell them to hurry off before you call the police. Other than that though, there doesn't seem to be anyone, or anything else, right? Well, except for the rumbling, shaking and noises of some sort of creature. A pigeon? A plane? An egg salad sandwich? No, a sort of bird. You spend most of the prototype being stalked by this mysterious bird creature who will soon be known as the Guest, who seems to run away whenever you look at or shine your light at it. After this prototype was found and analysed, fans were excited, but also confused on whatever this game was, or was going to be. However, after a few cryptic teasers and news, Hello Guest was announced, and released its first alpha on the 13th of June 2020. This was revolutionary for Hello Neighbour, with it introducing a new gameplay style, environments, and characters that made Mr. Peterson only seem like a small part of the puzzle in the grand scheme of things. TinyBuild went silent for a while until a new teaser livestream was shown. It went on for quite a long while, with a countdown in the corner, leading to something. This something ended up being Hello Neighbour 2, which seemed to replace Hello Guest entirely, but not forgetting the Guest itself. The Guest was actually advertised and shown as the main antagonist for Hello Neighbour 2 for quite a while, being the creature patrolling Mr. Peterson's house in the first trailers and alphas. It even went on to be in Secret Neighbor as a playable character, ironically, and is going to have an important role in the future episodes of the recent animated series and Hello Neighbor 2's future updates.
Despite all of this cool stuff, Hello Guest was completely discarded and pretty much forgotten by everyone. I mean, yeah, it did get a port to mobile and consoles, but after that, the game was basically completely forgotten. In fact, after Hello Neighbor 2's announcement, the Hello Guest Alpha was actually revealed to be the pre-alpha for Hello Neighbor 2, its main focus to introduce the Stalker AI concept for the full game. Didn't age well. So why don't we take a look back at this seemingly forgotten Hello Neighbor game that ended up being probably one of the most unique, yet quickly discarded ideas in the Hello Neighbor franchise. Its final result being nothing like it planned.
In Hello Guest, you play as either Beatrix or Quentin. They are two security guards who find themselves working at Mr. Peterson's old abandoned Golden Apple amusement park. You get the choice from the start of the game, but there aren't any real changes to the gameplay depending on which character you choose, more just different cutscenes. The main goal in Hello Guest is to get to the mountain, while making sure to keep vandals away from the park for money that you can spend after every shift, on useful equipment, for either taking out fires that happen if vandals are left out too long, items like cameras to solve puzzles, or other pieces of equipment, like ropes or lights to avoid the guest. The guest is the main threat in Hello Guest. I mean, it is kind of in the name. Its AI is very different from Mr. Peterson in the other Hello Neighbor games, with it running away whenever you look at it or shine your light at it. It more stalks you than chases you. Whenever the guest catches our character, their heart rate will go up. This can change and make it harder to play every time, as the sensitivity can get faster and the visuals become more distorted. If the player is caught too many times and their heart rate goes overboard, their shift will end early. This can be calmed down though by buying tea from the shop and drinking it. You can also temporarily stun the guest by using ropes from the shop as well. By tying them from one object to another, you can trip the guest up and create some admittedly funny moments. Another good way to stun or keep the guest away from you is lights. The guest hates lights and will stay away from them at all cost. You can buy spotlights and power them with generators, the main source of power for machines throughout the game, and place them wherever you want in the map. This can be helpful as you will have to do a fair bit of multitasking to solve the puzzles around the park to get to the mountain, so keeping the guest off your back can be very helpful.
All of these mechanics are very cool in my opinion, with the surprisingly unique ways to avoid and outsmart the AI, which actually kinda works. However, I think that the most thought out and surprisingly well programmed mechanic in Hello Guest is one that I haven't even talked about yet.
In one of the buildings, if you make your way up this very dark passageway, you can find a machine at the top of this building. This is called a mixer, and you will need a generator and wires to power this up. Once this is done, the player can use combinations of items to make one specific one. What's so cool about this though is the amount of combinations that were actually programmed into the game. You can put any amount of fire extinguishers, ropes, drinks, batteries, you name it, and as long as you combine it with something different, the mixer is bound to make something unique out of it. It's a surprising amount of detail and honestly care into such a small mechanic, like you only have to use the mixer once to actually beat the game. Obviously, not every item is going to be useful, but some of them are just goofy fun, like an RC car, a bloody Molotov cocktail, and the mixer genuinely just breaking because you mixed battery with battery. For an alpha, this is really impressive.
All of these mechanics are awesome and add a lot of replayability to the game in my opinion. However, when it comes to actually beating the game, there is still some of that Hello Neighbor Act 3 feeling, if you know what I mean.
As soon as you start Hello Guest, right after the intro, you were just put into the park and left on your own to figure out what to do. At first, this can be seen as a cool decision, leaving it to the player to explore and make discoveries, making the park almost feel like a sandbox. However, as time goes on, the lack of hints just gets frustrating for me, and I'm left just looking at a guide on what to do, which honestly just takes the fun out of it. One thing that Hello Neighbor 2 did right in my opinion is the hints. Looking around the houses can be useful to solving the puzzles inside them, like images on fridges or treasure maps showing a specific location in the map that will have a useful item to progress. It also uses icons at certain points too, telling you which item you need to open this door or passageway, but not shoving it in your face exactly how to get that item. It's a nice balance. Hello Guest, on the other hand, does none of this. Which is fair, I guess, because it's an alpha and was still in development at the time, but the lack of help could have been fixed by perhaps graffiti on the walls, which link to certain items or puzzles, or maybe posters on some of the amusement park streetlights or buildings, which can let the player know about what they may need for a certain area, or what may be in a specific building that can help them. The one thing that really distinguishes Hello Guest from what came after it is the atmosphere. As Hello Neighbor 2's alphas had a lively and vibrant, yet trashed and almost abandoned look, Hello Guest feels eerie, mysterious, almost creepy. The Golden Apple amusement park is full of run-down, destroyed attractions like carousels and Ferris wheels. The buildings are tall and big, yet feel empty and desolate. All of Hello Guest basically takes place at night too, leaving a lot of the interiors dark without a flashlight, and the outside feeling deep, and almost like the trees themselves are hiding something. Combined with the mechanics of being stalked by a creature you seemingly have never heard of, nor seen until now, as well as the sound of wind, rusting metal, and rustling of grass and bushes, either being you or something else, leaves you paranoid while exploring, wondering what could be behind every corner, and who or what might sneak up on you next. The music only adds to this feeling as well, with the oddly relaxing, yet mysterious and sometimes even eerie and unknown feeling of some of the soundtracks that can play throughout your time at the park.
Overall, Hello Guest was a great concept in my opinion, especially for a Hello Neighbor game. It clearly had a lot of potential and could have changed the basic formula, while also staying true to the original idea that started the series off in the first place. That being an advanced AI that does anything in its power to stop the player from winning. For it to just end up being a test for Hello Neighbor 2, despite the full release barely having any of the features presented in Hello Guest, just makes me feel disappointed and like that wasn't the original intention. Even if I did end up enjoying Hello Neighbor 2 and thought that it did some things better than Hello Guest in certain aspects. Either way though, we must move on. And in all fairness, tinyBuild are planning to bring the Guest back, with the next Hello Neighbor 2 update planning to release this month, containing new content and a continuation of the terrible cliffhanger ending, a lot of it having to do with the Guest. There even seems to be a forest section where the Guest will stalk you, which tells me that the future is looking bright for the Guest, Hello Neighbor 2, and maybe even Hello Guest. Perhaps it wasn't completely forgotten after all. I really need to play Hello Neighbor 2 again. Ah! What? But... Oh, for the last time! Charlie, I have to tell you something.
You took a long time to get up.
I know.
In all seriousness, though, are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine. Just
You
listen.
want to drink some cocoa or coke to make you feel better?
No, I'm fine, thank you. But can you just listen
It's been
to
a
me?
long day. Get some rest. You look like you need it.
Wait. There was this guy.